What's up? Welcome back to episode 7 of the R&D show.
7. It's not just episode 7. It's episode 007.
Oh my goodness. It is 007. Well, that explains why we're dressed this way.
Exactly.
There we go. So I guess I'm Dan, PT Dan.
And I'm Rob. Just Rob.
You're never just Rob to me. You know that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, yeah, we are super excited to be with everybody tonight. We've got some really great news. We've got some wonderful people joining us and some
Prepare to die, R&D community show.
That's your lead-in?
Oh, wait, are you this week's villain?
I'm every week's villain. It is I, Dr. Moeller, Supreme Overlord of the MOLARR organization.
Okay, so Mr. Moeller...
Dr. Moeller! I didn't spend all those years staring into the dark abyss that is the human mouth and start MOLARR, the leading global destruction and cavity prevention awareness organization, to be called Mr.
So I'm afraid to ask, but what does MOLARR stand for?
The Malevolent Order for the elimination of all that is reputable and righteous.
Okay.
Are you set on that name?
Prepare to hear my demands. Excuse me, this Yorkie is dead. Can someone get me a new Yorkie? Hurry up, please.
I believe we are adequately prepared to hear your demands.
I believe we are now adequately prepared. You must cease operations of this fourth-rate variety show immediately!
Well, hey! Second-rate variety show. We are also the 8th highest-rated middle-aged dad broadcast on the lower southeasterly side of town.
Oh, that's wonderful. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. That's awesome.
Enough! Secondly, you must pay me $1 billion and floss every night for the rest of your natural lives.
That was billion with a B?
You've never actually seen our show, have you, Dr. Moeller? We don't even have that kind of a budget.
I floss every night, though.
Dude, you're such a
Actually, I agree with Rob. I have spoken, you fools!
Oh boy, I knew this was a bad idea.
Why do I feel like I need to go floss right now?
Right? There's no time. We'll see if we get Mr. Moeller, Dr. Moeller back again. We'll have to beef up our security. Thanks for bearing with us with that one.
And I'm really sorry, folks. If you guys have any ideas, like, actually, you know what? Thank you to Dr. Moeller for just showing up. You know, that's really nice.
We do appreciate.
It's nice to know somebody's watching.
I
usually assume my mom's watching, but I think she's busy tonight. So
he's one of the viewing.
There we go. So one of the viewers. That's great.
Every number counts.
That's why we're number 8.
That's right.
Lower southeasterly side of town, baby.
Moving on up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
We've got a wonderful show here tonight. Very exciting stuff. We're going to check in with a new friend of ours, world-renowned psychiatrist and grief expert, Dr. Elena Lister, who is here to talk with us about a brand new upcoming event that we are titling the Voices Against Cancer Community Symposium.
Yeah, and we've also that's going to be very exciting.
Yes.
Because I love Dr. Lister, and if you can't tell, whenever you're watching, I'm trying very hard not to fanboy and gush all over her. So, but also Bekah Hauert, Mrs. South Dakota 2024, is going to join us. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because she is also a cancer mom, and you may have met her at some of the stuff, like St. Baldrick's head shavings or the Voices Against Cancer thing. And she's usually surrounded by a pile of hair and lots of people getting snipped up to raise money for childhood cancer research. So checking in with Bekah, because she is she is not just a head shaver. She has very exciting news about some things she's doing that are partnering with Voices Against Cancer to bring some cool events to the community and some connecting points for everyone. So some more of that stuff on the way from Bekah as we get into the show. So
that all sounds super, super sweet, but I got a quick question.
Yes.
What's a head shaver?
Oh, well, if it helps, it's way better than being the head tail shaver.
Oh, well, that's true. That is true. That's true. Don't you have some, speaking of tails, don't you have something?
Did you guys remember, did you guys see this week, friend of the show, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, shared the news that Sonic 3 has been announced. And I know that's going to mean a lot to a few of you that are watching. Lots and lots of Sonic fans in the world of my patients anyway. I know I get excited about it because, well, it's fun to just know somebody. But, and Colleen has come on and she reads bedtime stories to us. Remember Goodnight Tales? That was a pretty cool episode. We're going to have to do that again. Auntie Colleen's going to have to come back and read us a bedtime story because I'm getting tired. No, just kidding. We're doing this. So let's jump in. So I have no idea where I am on the line.
It's all good.
We wrote a script and then you know what we're doing is whatever we do. We're just getting off topic. But why don't we jump in with this person who's also, if you do have any ways for us to raise $1 billion, obviously we'd like to pay Dr. Moeller, but if we raise $1 billion, it's not going to Dr. Moeller. No, we're going to definitely, we'll tell him it is. And then we'll tell him Porch Pirates stole it. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely be giving the billions of dollars to childhood cancer research if we get $1 billion. But if you have an idea, somebody who's money savvy out there, we need to hear this because it's very likely that Dr. Moeller's coming back.
Drop it in the comments.
I mean, I feel like in 2 episodes, he's going to have his own merch.
Right. Of course. All right.
So without further ado, we'd like to bring on one of the best voices on Twitter for grief and how to navigate it in an honest way. And she's the co-author of this wonderful book that came to me at a very special time in my life. And her name is Dr. Elena Lister. She's a psychiatrist, and I'll let you tell her more about yourself. So come on out, Dr. Lister.
Hi. Hi, Rob. Hi, Dan.
Nope,
we're going to give you the big screen, so
if we can do it.
Okay.
Nope, we don't know how. Okay, we're just going to leave it the size that it is. But
I'm fine with my size. That's good.
You're just right. So
thank you so much for joining us.
I'm very glad to be here. Dr. Moeller's a hard act to follow.
Well, you don't have to sound quite as sinister, and I think that'll actually feed into more of what we're talking about. So,
okay.
No creepy villain music for you.
I'm good with that.
So I think I'll tell the audience how I met you really quickly, and we met electronically, and until tonight we've not actually spoken face to face at all. So, but I encountered Dr. Lister on Twitter. Which is one of the few redeeming things about Twitter, if you're being honest. So now it's called X, but that's just one of the other non-redeeming things about Twitter. But truthfully, I discovered somebody on there who, with the patients that I work with, I heard a voice of encouragement coming from Dr. Lister, and that the best thing about her was the words that came out of her mouth sounded like questions I had been asking myself. And there was just a little bit of a hint to spur me on towards what might be an answer. And I can't tell you how many times I've gotten onto Twitter and read something that Dr. Lister wrote, which, by the way, if you're on Twitter, you should go follow her, because if you ever wanted to smile and know that there's someone that's carrying out on the social media landscape, it'll make you smile every time you read something from her. So, but I actually discovered this book, and well, I saw it listed on Twitter that it was coming out. I pre-ordered it, and it just happened to arrive 3 days before my brother passed away. And so that was the shocker that I wanted to give her. She wanted me to wait till on air, but that's when this book arrived. And so the funny thing about this book and the amazing thing about it, and I believe that it was the best timing in the world, that there was something of kindness in God to give me this book when I needed it, because this is a roadmap for how to talk to kids about, well, it actually says it right on the front, conversations with children about illness, death, and loss. And I had to have those conversations shortly after receiving the book. And so it was very comforting to me to look in and be like, okay, oh, this is a good way to do this, but also to be like, oh, we did do that. Okay. Oh, that was okay. We were just having an honest conversation. It sounds like that was a good thing. So, Dr. Lister, I want you to talk now, and I'd love for you to give the audience a bit of your backstory, your origin story, if you're willing, whatever you're willing to share, because I think you guys will find that this is someone who maybe understands a little bit of being right where you are.
Yeah, first, but I have to say I'm sad with you about your brother, Dan. That's really hard. And I hope your kids are doing okay about it. So I was always going to be a psychiatrist how far back do you want me to go?
Let's do it. I love that part.
We have 10 minutes.
Tell me about 6-year-old Elena.
Hours have you got?
Yeah.
And I had no intention of specializing in grief. And I was in practice and teaching and writing and all those other things. And my then 4-year-old daughter, named Liza, got ill, and we discovered it was leukemia. And she had the great kind, which 90% cure rate. But she had a very rough course with it. And she died in almost to the day 2 years after her diagnosis. And so she was 6, and she was very determined to live to her 6th birthday. Mm-hmm. And her older sister, my other child, was 7 when Liza was diagnosed and 9 when Liza died. So I had these 2 young children, and we were incredibly overwhelmed and wished that we had a guide to help us know what to do and what to say. And so we kind of patched it together ourselves, myself and my husband, Phil, who's also an adult and child psychiatrist. Oh. And what we decided to do was to talk with Liza and Molly, our older daughter, completely honestly about what was happening. So when we found out that she was terminally ill, she was part of that conversation. And we all lived the last what turned out to be 3.5 months of her life knowing that she was dying, and talking about it and trying to maximize time and whatever fun was possible amidst a lot of pain. And then she died. And then her older sister went through an intense grieving process, and we tried to be there for her. And then I had another child, which I was very lucky, a little guy named Solomon, who's not so little, he's 25 now. Just don't guess my age, anybody, okay? No math.
Right.
No comments, please. Nothing in the comments.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we had the situation of trying to help him understand what had happened in our family before he died, before he was born, and that Liza was still a part of our family. Mm-hmm. And we believe in something called parenting the memory.
Yes.
In which you continue to bring a child who died along with you in ways in your heart, in your memory. And this, I'm talking all about her. So now all of your listeners now know about my daughter, Liza, and my daughter, Molly, and my son, Solomon. But at the time, doctors could not talk to us. And I don't know whether that was in part because both of us were doctors and it kind of freaked them out. And they kept thinking, that could be me and I don't want to get near it. And we were so desperate for connection about what was happening. And in particular, her oncologist had a great deal of difficulty talking with her about it directly. And we had some very heartfelt conversations with him, asking him to please be honest with her, because we were being honest with her, and it was making her anxious that he wasn't. And so toward the end, he was able to do that. And it convinced me, that experience convinced me that even young children can talk about death. And if you had asked me 2 years before that, could I ever imagine having a conversation with my 4 and 6-year-old, 5 and so on, about illness, about cancer in themselves, and the sibling, I would have said, "There's no way I can do that." And with all my training, I never got any training in grief management, or how to talk with kids about things like this. So, but I saw that they could, and not only could, but they needed to. That they had questions, and there was some curiosity, not just fear or worry. And we went to my daughter's school, my older daughter's school, and we spoke to her class. It was 100 at that time, 3rd graders, and we said, "We want you to understand what's happening to Molly's sibling at home, so that you don't have to have questions that can't be answered, and in parentheses, so that Molly doesn't have to feel as much about what's going on." And also, we found people were scared to visit us. And because we were scary. Yeah. We were what everybody didn't want to be. And so in that conversation with these 120 3rd graders, we spoke about what Liza was dying, and she knew that, and they got incredibly compassionate and curious. What does she do at home? What's her favorite food? Can she still eat? Does she have pain? And they told us all about losses that they'd had. My grandpa died, my pet dog died, and so on. And it was just like this flowing wealth of connection and conversation about something which people think you can't talk about. And so
pressure relief, it sounds like. They were building.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, loss, illness, death, it's all around us. I mean, if you think about nature, right? I mean, kids see things die all the time. So it's not like we're introducing them to something they don't know about. They know all about it. They just don't think we want to talk to them about it. Yeah. And so we can only help them ask us the questions they need to ask if we show that we're willing to talk about it. And that means we have to get through our own stuff about it first. So in any case, that determined the rest of my career ever since then. So that's a long-winded way to saying. So
I think you're wonderful. Well, I think you've given a great gift to the physician groups around here, because you're teaching them to be as compassionate and to be as present as they can be with the patients is a great gift to that patient. Because just like the children in the school, the children in the clinic they're thinking about these things. And so I'm blessed to work with some very compassionate oncologists, and they do get this stuff and they understand it. And even the things that make them feel uncomfortable, they are willing to dive into it with the child because they know they need it. And I've always applauded that. Because they've taught me a lot too. It's just funny because I just remember it popped into my head how uncomfortable I was when I first started encountering it and not knowing how to talk. I was asking them, like, with the nurses that I worked with and stuff, like, how do I talk to this child? And what do you usually do whenever you're in there? And the best advice I've ever been given was from my dear nurse practitioner friend, who just said, you just be honest and tell them what you feel. And in my opinion, that set me on the right path. And your book has been great wayfinding as well. And it's been nice to have permission to know that it's okay to be honest about the things that are hurting. And you've mentioned the quote that I love from Mr. Rogers, that is that what is mentionable is manageable. And I think actually Margaret McFarland might have been the one that originated that too.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, but it has
come completely.
Well, I think that anybody who can be kindly remembered for something that helps others is okay. And I have no doubt that the reason why we brought you on is to talk to you about this symposium that is going to be taking place in the spring here. And thanks to some, I honestly, some generosity from the state and some allocation to Voices Against Cancer, we've been allowed to plan and implement, and we're still in the stages of that, but to plan this childhood cancer community symposium is what's coming. And so for the listeners out there who are watching, folks that are watching, this is a chance for us to gather together, and we're going to have Dr. Lister available to us. And if she isn't available, we'll reschedule. What we're gonna do is this dialogue, but we want to do it live and in person with people, and we will feed you breakfast. Is that correct? Are we doing some kind of refreshments?
We're working out all the things. We're hoping for some donuts from Flyboy Donuts, our newest partner, and some coffee. And so we'll have a light breakfast.
And we'll shove some up to a camera for you, Dr. Lister, so you can have some too.
Yeah, and that's what we're finalizing our venue. It's we're hoping for a Saturday morning from 9 a.m. till noon in March. Yep. And we're just, like I said, finalized. We got to make sure that we have the right technology. So
we are not technologically impaired, but we are not technologically savvy.
If anybody has seen previous episodes, they realize that for the first 5 minutes we've gone before and we're just doing this.
It's always a big question mark as to whether we're going to actually be live and have a show or not.
Exactly. But we will have we're going to have some light refreshments 9 to noon. Dr. Lister is going to be there. We're going to have hopefully kind of a small panel and Q&A and just kind of some information, maybe a few surprises and few books maybe.
Yep. And might even be some of these available.
Yes,
just
free,
so you know.
Free admission.
Yeah, free admission. And
because
maybe some door prizes. I don't know.
Possibly
maybe we'll figure something out like that.
Through a grant through the state of South Dakota Department of Health.
Maybe Dr. Moeller will show up. Who knows? We will do. Yeah. Truthfully, like this is the money is something that is geared towards building connections between families who have had loss like this and who honestly or have maybe even a survivor at home. Childhood cancer creates trauma, and I think everybody on this watch knows that. I know you know that. I experience it in my work life. And Dr. Lister, I'm motioning over here like I'm going to motion to her, but Dr. Lister knows that as well. And so this trauma is something that it takes an honest process to go through, and that process is called grief. And you go through that by having people who are kindly around you who can point you in the right direction. And as Dr. Lister has done it for me, I know she can do it for many others. And so that's why she's here. She's promoting that, and we're so glad to have some time with her. I know she needs to get back to her family, but Dr. Lister, thank you for being with us. As either a parting shot or anything else, can you tell us what is one thing that someone has told you that was a wayfinding thing for you?
Okay. And I didn't even prepare this.
I hit you with it just now. Sorry.
The pediatrician who was taking care of our children, general pediatrician, not related to cancer, said to us, "There's always hope, but it may need to be redefined." And that really changed the picture for me, because I could figure out, rather than hoping necessarily that Liza would live, I could hope that she had a morning freer of pain. And it just gave me a perspective that allowed for something positive in the setting that was breaking my heart. So
we need positivity. And know that Liza, all of her siblings and her parents are all part of our community now. She is now part of ours.
We gather people in and we hold on to them.
She is on our list of honored children.
Yep.
And so
Liza, I like that we've said her name a lot, because I know you carry her in your heart. And so this parenting, the loss of the child, you're parenting that for you, they're there anyway. They're in your heart. None of my kids have gone through this, but I do carry a lot of, I've been blessed by parents to have had memories with their kids. And so I tend to thank them because I have memories of them in my heart, and I get to carry that forward too. And I know Rob has, I thankfully have we've had some great conversations about Ian. Ian tends to make his appearances as well. So
he does. We actually have an anniversary of one of his greatest appearances coming up on Valentine's Day. So
even with this show, it's been kind of crazy the way this works, because we will be doing something and all of a sudden Ian will pop into the scene, and we're like, oh my goodness, there it is. That's the one for this week, I guess. So
That's right.
They never leave us, and they constantly make reappearances.
Yes,
So,
Yes, indeed.
Thank you so very much for
Yes,
joining us tonight.
And we're so excited to talk with you more.
I am so glad to be here. This has been fun. And it's great to have fun about stuff that's hard. So
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the goal.
Well,
One of them.
And we'll let you go and be with your family, but thank you for coming on.
Yes.
hi, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, if anyone could vanquish Dr. Moeller, it would be the kindness of Dr. Lister.
It would be Dr. Lister. I mean, maybe that'd be like a,
Well-
Sunday, Dr. Lister versus Dr. Moeller.
Well, have you ever
That would be
seen
kinda
those? Like
cool.
it's more like a kung fu thing, because she would give such gentle kindness that
Oh,
literally
yes.
he would just like
Very
dissipate.
Shang-Chi
Yeah, you don't
kind.
know.
Yeah, that is true.
No,
That's true.
He's a tough guy. And then, but yeah, so back on task now. I guess so the other cool thing about tonight is we're going to unveil a new thing that cancer mom Bekah Hauert is working on, and so excited to be able to share it with you, and we can show you some of it live in person here.
Yes.
But Bekah is here. She cannot be here with us live, so but we nonetheless have a pretty good presentation from her, and she's going to be able to tell you all about it. So without further ado, she will take the stage.
Here, my name is Bekah. I am Mrs. South Dakota International 2024, and I am excited to be joining you guys on the R&D show. Talk to you a little bit about who I am and what childhood cancer means to me and my family. So thank you for letting me join you guys, and I look forward to this. My story starts, I grew up in Sioux Falls. I'm a lifelong resident. I grew up here and married my high school sweetheart. We've been married for 18 years. We have 4 crazy and wild kiddos, and our oldest is adolescent. So she is 16 years old, and when she was 4 years old, she was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was a very trying, at least couple of years when she was going through treatment. And during that time, we really realized where the importance of support and having a community of people surrounding us was very important. So now that we are on this side of it, and thankfully she is cancer free, I have dedicated this year in my platform to kind of launch a different area and help support Voices Against Cancer in a different avenue than I have in the past. You've maybe seen me on stage shaving heads at St. Baldrick's events, and also doing that at this Voices Against Cancer. And it has been so fun to be part of, and I can't wait to help launch this other area to help other families who are going to be coming down this road. My personal mission statement with this is that I really feel that God has called us all to have a purpose in life. And that purpose, I believe, for me is to provide comfort and support for families who are fighting or are going to be fighting one of the biggest battles of their lives. That part has motivated me to be what I'm calling a cancer voice for others. And I'm hoping to do that this year through advocacy and by creating a community of support for individuals and families when they receive the earth-shattering, life-shattering, life-changing news that their child has cancer. My hope and goal is to create a community of caring voices, of people who are there for each other and who are committed to providing support and healing for those in the cancer community. So I'm excited to be able to do that this year, and I'm excited to have the support of Voices Against Cancer and being able to join their forces a little bit more than I have in the past to be able to launch some of these things. I get to be kind of the driving force behind this year with the support of the Voices Against Cancer board and Rob, and I really appreciate that opportunity. The Caring Voices that we're going to be launching is, like I said, a little umbrella of the Voices Against Cancer, and it is for those, it's a community for those who have been through childhood cancer in their family or who are going to be going down that path in the future. We are committed to providing support and healing for the cancer community through necessities, signature support events, and collaborations. Again, this is all through our comfort care stacks, as we're calling them. And our hope with this is it's meant to provide support by coming alongside of families and children early on in their diagnosis. And so what this is going to be is it's going to be a small sack or a bag, a cooler type thing, and it's going to be able to be something that families can transport temperature sensitive medications in. It's going to have some of those necessities that go along with administering medication. It's going to provide a gift card for a family who has got distance to travel back and forth for treatment, you know, maybe some grocery gift cards if they're needing that. And that's just a small gesture that we're hoping to be able to provide so that these families know that we are here, and it's a constant reminder that they have this community alongside of them. And then the other thing that we are hoping to launch is our Caring Voices signature support events. And with those, they're meant to provide support by creating intentional moments to bring families together in order to create a strong community. It's really easy to go through the day-to-day things and put our needs to the side because we're just kind of feeling like we're needing to survive in that. And so we feel obviously during those times it's just as important, if not more important, that we tend to those needs and make time for ourselves. So that in mind, we are hosting monthly virtual socials. And with that, it will allow families to come together, meet new faces, and share concerns, victories, allow those who are maybe confined to a hospital or home due to, you know, their medical situation at that time, to be involved with this cancer community. And each of those events is going to look a little bit different. It maybe will have different speakers. We're talking about doing maybe a fun book club for the moms or the dads, whoever wants to be involved, but something fun to bring those even adults together for, you know, sometimes, and just have scheduled out time. We're also hoping to host some sort of a quarterly retreat or a camp, if you want to call it that, to allow families to come together maybe for, you know, just a weekend, a couple of days of reflection and growth, to be pampered, especially for the moms, because we all know us moms love that, especially when we're always putting others first. And to just be refilled emotionally and spiritually. So just a great time for not only the adults but also the kiddos to come together and walk alongside each other and be able to see that there are other kids in even our community that are going through the same struggles that they are, and that they're not alone, and that there are people who are going through the same things and feelings that they are. And then of course, last but not least, is our annual fundraiser, which is the founding event of Voices Against Cancer, is where we bring actors, actresses from around the world of the community together, and to raise funds for research, education, financial funding for families. And then also during this event is obviously when we do our St. Baldrick's head shaving event. That has been a part that I have been able to be involved in the last, I believe, 8 years now, of leading the group that actually shaves the heads, and being part of that as a hairstylist and salon owner myself. That's something that I have found my niche in, and where I really got involved in this when my daughter was diagnosed. And together, obviously, we can make a bigger impact, supported through your support of Voices Against Cancer, by attending the events and being part of the things in, of course, the big main event in July. So we, again, thank you guys for being part of that. I'm so excited, like I said, to be able to be a part of this. I appreciate you guys for letting me be part of your show. Thank you again for having me, and I look forward to meeting all of you. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you, Bekah, so very much. That was so awesome. We're just so blessed, and I tell you what, I mean, it's close to a decade that she's helped, and the barber coordinator, and she's just done such an amazing job. And to show a little bit of a preview is I actually have one of these Comfort Care Kit bags with me tonight,
and it's got the logo on it.
Logo, and this thing is huge. It's monstrous, and so it's basically half backpack, and then the other half, the bottom half, is an insulated thermos,
like a fridge,
basically, to help transport any type of medication that is temperature sensitive. So that's all I'm going to say, and that we're going to mention about it. And if you want to see this, and Bekah, Mrs. South Dakota International, you can see all of that and more this Saturday night if you're in the Sioux Falls area.
Skyforce. It's time, guys. We're gonna go watch the Skyforce shoot some hoops and raising money for Voices Against Cancer. At the Skyforce, there's gonna be a Voices Against Cancer booth.
Yep.
At the Skyforce game.
Raffle prizes, big raffle prizes.
I think there's gonna be videos and stuff like that playing at the booth, so you can kind of see what Voices Against Cancer is all about. You can also just enjoy the game and buy lots of concessions and things like that.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? Hang out at the table, look through there's photos of like all these people that have come to Voice. We have so many great like celebrity folks who have come to these things to kind of raise awareness and to highlight the event. And I'm so thankful that we have the support that we do. Guys, we're almost done with the show here, and we're actually ending with what I think is a pretty decent time. I mean, usually we keep you guys here way longer. But
I mean, they can come and go whenever
they could come and go whenever they want.
Yeah.
Hopefully some of you got dinner and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Have some in the background.
But truthfully, guys, we want to be an open show for this community, and we are just what we want to do is we just want to know if you guys have things you want to see on this show, or if there are besides more Dr. Moeller, because I think we can agree we all could use a little more Dr. Moeller in our lives. But also like other people, other guests, if there's people that you're aware of in the sphere of childhood cancer that you would like us to try to talk to, Rob and I are pretty shameless. Like we'll reach out to anybody.
Yeah, we're not afraid of
So we're very happy for the role that we have in the community as just being some of the voices, but we're so thankful to see all these other voices coming from everywhere to support you all in these journeys that you're on. So thank you for joining us. Is there anything else you need to say, Rob?
No, I think you've covered it all. We've got it. I mean, it was we set out what our objective for the night was, and that's basically to once again show people the support and that this community is going to continue to grow, and stay tuned for more.
Yeah, we continue to be here for you and here to support you, and we will just keep finding more and more ways to do that. So if you need that kind of community, it's right here waiting. But thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you again to Dr. Moeller. Again, if you know any, the Skyforce thing, there's a link. There's a link in the episode here that has the link where you get your tickets for the Skyforce game. If you buy from that link, then Voices Against Cancer gets some of the money. If you don't buy from that link, we are kind of out of luck. So
yeah, you need to buy it from that link.
Please take the time to hit the link up and buy your tickets there. Plus, that shows the Skyforce what kind of a community they're dealing with. So we would love to be able to do more and more of these things. And so yeah, as a community, we show up and we hang out and be the awesome people that we are, and more and more voices rally to it. So
that's right. Give kids a voice.
Yep. We're going to let's say a little quick good night. We'll say good night to Colleen. Keep working on Sonic 3.
Yes.
And good night to Emily and all of the Mandalorian folks. And
D. Bradley Baker and Stuart and
Stuart.
Our ambassadors. We have 3 official Voices Against Cancer ambassadors now.
They're all working tirelessly in the background along with Josh Brame to figure out who's going to come and who's going to bring in more and more folks to the convention center for this summer's event. So
we'll have Josh on here before the event too, so he can really kind of give us.
We know that Josh loves to talk in public and especially to big audiences, so it's going to be great. Josh, we're coming for you.
Yes.
Maybe we should make him a villain. Like
That's true.
He could
be cool. Dr. Moeller's sidekick. I wonder if the two of them know each other.
Does he want sidekick status, or maybe we should have a warring villains problem?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Well, if you guys hit us up with your ideas, comment as much as you want below, and the more you like and subscribe to Voices Against Cancer, things like that, the more power we have to be able to reach more people with this initiative. So thank you so much for your time, and you guys have a great evening. Thank you. And that's it. Have a good night.